Hello and welcome to the NASCussion intelligent debate on the topic of NASCAR and various issues throughout it. I'm John Cittadino, and I'm joined here by my guest panelists, Joshua Michaels.
Hello.
Thomas Beatty.
Hello.
Jaime Pintor.
Good evening.
And Anthony McCrury.
Good evening, sirs.
Now, tonight we're going to be talking about a topic that has been brought up many a time in the NASCAR community, and that is the presence of nationwide regulars, or Buschwhackers, in the nationwide series. As you know, they made a rule a couple years ago that said they could not run for the championship, but they can still run the schedule, and we're here to talk about whether or not that should be. Now I'm going to open up the floor to whoever wants to put in their insight on it first.
I kind of think that, actual Sprint Cup Series drivers racing in the Nationwide Series is an okay thing, but they kind of needs to regulate it, because if you have like Kyle Busch run every race, then it's kind of boring watching, because Kyle Busch is going to win because he's a seasoned veteran, and you kind of want some of the actual drivers that are only in Nationwide to win a race. So I don't mind them racing it. It's just that they need to not do it as frequently.
I agree.
I gotta agree with that because having Kyle Busch just win every single nationwide race every season starts to get boring after a while, and you guys see how Daytona goes around. Tony Stewart wins about every dang race.
It's true.
Wait, okay. Tony Stewart won the 2013 Daytona race by luck, okay?
Well, yeah, by luck, because there was a big wreck behind him, and he just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But just seeing Tony Stewart winning every race, and only having James Buescher win one race, and I think that was last year. That starts to get a little boring, because the primary thing of the Nationwide Series is to give drivers from the ARCA Series, maybe the Truck Series, to have a chance to race in the top leagues of NASCAR and maybe go on in the Cup.
Now, I want to ask, does anyone here feel that the presence of these Cup regulars, is that hurting these lower drivers?
I think, yes, they are, because, we got, top Cup people like Kyle Busch, even though he's not eligible for the championship, he's still winning races like crazy. And you got Austin Dillon, Reagan Smith, Sven Jones Jr. trying to win the championship, but because these Cup regulars winning the races, it's just kind of boring sometimes to watch the Nationwide Series.
I gotta agree with that.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that it's boring, because I do feel it's boring, but I don't think that's the one reason. I feel the Cup regulars, the equipment's just much better on those cars.
I gotta agree with that too.
Yeah.
You see how most of the Cup regulars that are racing in the Nationwide Series, how they set up their cars, and during practice, if you guys watch practice, I see Kyle Busch's car, and he's maintaining a straight line through the corners and on the front stretch, and he takes that on in the qualifying, and he gets pole after pole. And then he does so good in the race that he actually ends up winning. I feel the idea that they're putting so much into one car over the other that it's hurting these lower drivers, because you have drivers like Drew Herring, who runs the 20 car occasionally, sometimes the 54, and then you have Kyle Busch. They're both teammates. They both run for Joe Gibbs. Now Kyle Busch gets a car that's much better put together than Drew Herring. Now, granted, Herring's running a partial schedule, but he could be a driver that could be a potential option. But it doesn't seem like they give him as good of equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're giving these Cup regulars that race in the Nationwide Series the better equipment. Think about it. Kevin Harvick has his own team, and so does Kyle Busch, and they can use parts from if they like save older parts from the Cup cars and they can put Cup parts onto the Nationwide cars, which I think is a bad idea, and I think that should be outruled anyway. But I mean, they could do that, and it's really hurting the chances of some of these lesser funded teams.
Yeah, because like I mean like it's okay for Cup drivers like Kyle Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr. like own teams but not racing them sometimes, you know.
Correction.
And-
Kevin Harvick did have a team, but then he sold it to Richard Childress.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. He did sell the
It's-
team.
it's-
Well, yeah,
Dale
but
Jr.
you know what I meant when he actually still had the team.
Yeah, because I mean, this has
Dale
been going
Jr.
on for a while.
Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, and you know Kevin Harvick will be racing for Junior Motorsports for 2014. So even though it's kind of boring to see Cup regulars in Nationwide Series, I want to see how that handles out.
Yeah, because the 5 car is kind of a iffy ride.
Yeah,
Usually either does good or does really poorly.
yeah,
Speaking of Cup regulars nationwide, they also sometimes race in the Cup Truck Series too. Kyle Busch races in it. Brad Keselowski races in it. Harvick races in it a few times.
Gerald
and-
Wallace Jr. Oh,
I-
sorry.
You know what I feel is also kind of hurting it with these Cup regulars? They're putting all the funding into these Cup regular cars, but overall, like, it's not even like a matter of how relevant the Drivers' Championship in there is anymore. More people were starting to get more concerned with the Owners' Championship.
Alright.
Which
Yeah,
I don't think that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be the Owners' Championship that gets the thing. It should be the drivers.
Right.
Yeah.
definitely. Because like you know, you got
Although
like
I did like one year when Carl Edwards and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. did the nose-to-nose burnout. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. But
Well,
yeah,
Well, see, they're trying to make NASCAR the way they do the points a little bit more like Formula One, because Formula One has the Constructors' Championship along with the Drivers' Championship. Now, those are two separate points, and depending on how good the team does, they could either lose or win the Constructors' Championship with one of their drivers winning the Drivers' Championship. But NASCAR focusing too much on the Team Owners' Championship, I think, is a little weird because it's always been about the drivers, not the teams.
what it should be is that for the Owners' Championship, if they're going to run for it, they should put one of their nationwide drivers as the car they're going to try and win the championship in that with.
I
Yeah.
completely agree.
Like, if
but also-
Penske wants to go for a championship, they put Sam Morris Jr. in, though he's left the team. I'm just giving the example from last year. They would make Sam Morris Jr. their car that runs for that championship. Joe Gibbs, I mean, did they have a full-time... Did Joe Gibbs actually have a full-time
Yeah, Elliott
nationwide
Sadler.
points-getting team? Sadler?
And,
Sadler should be where they put their funding.
yeah, but you know, like Sadler has like you know he is trying to get to the Cup level a lot because like you know he had bad times, and you know I'm going to talk a bit about that nationwide. Like Elliott Sadler, he's trying to get into Cup a lot, but is stuck in a nationwide series and is doing so good but so little.
True.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think Ellie Sauer does have the potential as a driver to
Yeah, he does.
win races, but he just cannot get up there. They're not giving him a car that can run up there. They're giving all that support to Kyle Busch or, I will say, I'm going to correct myself, I just realized that Brian Vickers has been driving the 20 car all season, except for when he had that medical issue near the end. But they should have been putting it into that car. That's why they didn't win a driver's championship, because they put too much effort into the owners.
Yeah.
Speaking of what Anthony said about the manufacturer, they do a manufacturer championship with Toyota,
Yes.
Dodge, and Chevy.
Alright.
Yeah. And yeah.
Josh, if I might ask you a question real quick, were you quoting Sam Hornish Jr.
For what?
for Nationwide?
No, I was not.
Because I found this article on NASCAR.com/Nationwide that he is leaving the Nationwide series to make his Cup start again since 2008 because he's left without a ride and a team.
Yeah. Maybe think he might. I don't know if this is 20% true, but he might join Phoenix Racing maybe. Because like Phoenix Racing supports a lot of underfunded people trying to get back to the Cup level. You see Kurt Busch.
I don't think that's going to be the case because technically Phoenix Racing doesn't really exist anymore.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that is true.
Though they are attempting the Daytona 500. Like, it was a surprise announcement. James Finch is going to try and attempt the 500 with, they think, Bobby Labonte.
Yeah.
They're also going to enter a second car in the 500, I think. So this could be a good year for the 500.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like maybe because Jeff Burton is running like a limited schedule. I do not know he's running the 500. But like if he does, he might be in that second Phoenix car. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, or they could give it to one of the nationwide guys and see if they can bring them up. Or
Yeah. Maybe Reagan Smith, someone
Yeah.
junior.
Yeah, we could bring like some of the like nationwide regulars. I mean, that could even the playing field out in terms of teams.
But let's get back
Yeah.
on track here.
Yeah.
Now, with hold on, I just want to point out. I think we're getting a little bit of an echo from Tom's mic.
Yes.
Maybe you can adjust that for us.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. It's just
It's kind of hard.
I think it's combated a little bit because that one time it just was like really echoing. But to get back on topic, now I want to bring up some like counterclaims because we don't really have a party here that's against. Well, I mean that's for Buschwhackers, but what I commonly see as arguments from the other side is that one, having Buschwhackers challenges these drivers and shows who truly is the best. Two, that it's more interesting when their drivers are in the series and that the ratings would be much lower without the Cup regulars. And, okay, was there a third one? I forget. Oh, and I think the other one is, how would you feel if nationwide series drivers ran in the Cup series?
You know, the nationwide series drivers running the Cup series aren't as bad because it's not like they're gonna show up and they're just gonna utterly dominate everything. I mean, it's a good learning experience because eventually someday they may get full-time rides in the Sprint Cup Series, so they need to learn the car, and what better way to learn the car is to run a couple races, not full-time, and then make your full-time debut with a pretty decent team, if not some of the better teams. So it's really not as bad as, the Buschwhackers, because the Buschwhackers are obviously more seasoned veterans, and the nationwide drivers going into the Sprint Cup Series are more for the learning part of it. So I think it's a little better than the Buschwhackers, in my opinion. But again, maybe I'm just really wrong.
I want to expand upon that, Anthony. Now, I feel like I'm combining two arguments here. A lot of people are saying that those drivers being in the Nationwide Series tests those drivers' ability to see who truly is the best. I think that should be reserved for when they give them the part-time ride. Like, just think about it. Austin Dillon, he drove the 33 this past year for a limited schedule.
Right.
Now, that was his test to see how well he performed in the top series, putting him up against Cup competitors in Cup competition.
He did pretty good at Daytona.
Yeah, he had a good year. Also, he was good enough that Tony Stewart decided to bring him on as a replacement driver for a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did Talladega for and I didn't know which is the other one.
Yeah, I forget what his starts were, but like, I mean, he was brought up there and he was given a chance to race a couple events. Cole Witt and Parker Kligerman, same deal. They were brought up from the lower series to the top series to see how they would perform when they were nationwide drivers.
Yeah.
Kyle Larson was brought up for a couple races. Justin Allgaier. That should be where the test is to see if they can make it. The nationwide series is to hone the abilities, and then the part-time Cup schedule should be for when you need the test. All right, you've proved yourself with the lower guys. Let's see how you go against the big guns.
Right.
Well, John.
Yeah.
If I might add this, you saw how Danica Patrick entered the ARCA series back in 2010, correct?
Yes.
She raced a really good race, and she had that spin, and she kept it off the wall. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's the finest piece of driving I ever seen out of Danica, and she was given a shot for nationwide. She did pretty good, got some top fives, and she was given a chance by Stuart Haas in 2012 to make it into the Cup level. I mean, yeah, she had that wreck at Daytona in the duels, and then in the 500 last year, excuse me, she had that top 10. So maybe nationwide is to hone the skills of future Cup drivers.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, if they're constantly getting beaten down by these Cup regulars, they're not going to be as appealing for a ride because they're not near the front because you got all these top teams just backhanding all these little drivers. When what it used to be like is that you would see drivers that would be running in there and they're starting to make some noise in this series. I think Joe Nemechek might be an example. Joe Nemechek was a big nationwide, at the time, a Busch Series driver, and he would get some high-profile stuff, and then they would sometimes say, you know what, let's give this guy a chance, run him a little bit in the Cup Series, and he did all right, and they gave him the full-time Cup ride eventually. To a lesser extent, Steve Grissom also would probably fall into that field, though Grissom didn't last very long.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that, John, because Nemechek, he was a what was then called the Busch Series. He was a Busch Series regular, and then he got that opportunity to race Cup, and he did really good. So I gotta agree.
Yeah.
Then there's Mark Truex Jr.
Well, I want to say, I mean, older seasons of, the Busch Series, in the 1990s, you don't see, Cup regulars in that series, I believe.
You saw it occasionally.
Oh, no, yeah. You saw, maybe one or two drivers from Cup, racing in the Busch Series. Not like today where you have, maybe a handful, maybe half the field being Cup drivers.
Yeah.
And also, I feel back then, the Cup regulars that went down there, they had to kind of race for it. They actually had to earn it a bit.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It's maybe they want to go to the Busch Series to get some more experience on the track. Make sure they're moving the car right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back in the old days, it was really hard to do that. But now you can just pay Joe Gibbs $1 and you can drive really good in in Busch's case,
Right.
Well, Josh.
I know it's not $1.
Yeah.
Josh.
I don't think it's exactly that much.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
Remember, Josh, back in the 90s when Richard Petty was still racing, he was dominating what was called the Winston Cup Series, and and the Busch Series was mainly for prospects who wanted to race their way into the Cup Series, perhaps next season or the season after. But you have to be right because Joe Gibbs has tons of money, tons of cars, and tons of talent that he takes cup drivers and puts them in a nationwide car and says, here, go have a ball, go race, go dominate, go put down the smaller teams.
Yeah.
I want to see at least one nationwide driver win a race, win a championship, and then go on in the Cup and do the same thing.
Yes, because those Chevrolet guys, sometimes a lot of times Richard Childress, I believe, and Hendrick, they or Gerhard Jr. They try to get on more nationwide people to get up there. They try to make nationwide people get more experience. They want them to win championships and not be like Joe Gibbs, like Cup regulars, ruled the entire season. They want nationwide people to have chances.
Yeah,
Or
and
you're
Agreeable.
you're saying about Junior wanting and the other Chevy guys wanting to help nationwide drivers expand. One example would be Brad Keselowski. Dale Earnhardt Jr. signed him to a ride to drive the '88 car for his team, and he wanted. He would later leave and go to Penske, but now look at him. Now he's won a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship.
Yes, and also talk about that because that was the last championship for Dodge, and that's gotta be pretty huge for Dodge to win a championship because they've underfunded Dodge a lot.
see, what I think is also a big issue here is that you got these big teams with Joe Gibbs. They have the money to throw around. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't a risk to doing a team there, but they have the funds that they could give someone an opportunity, but they're not. They're giving it to these people that already have the opportunity. Wow, we're
Definitely.
getting a little bit of echo on Thomas's end again.
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I would have to agree with that, John, because from a post I saw on NASCAR.com, Dale Jr. was actually talking to Darrell Wallace Jr., who actually won a truck Martinsville race last season, breaking the barrier of being the first race car driver, stock car driver to win a race since Wendell Scott, and Dale Jr. saw that as a big accomplishment. So he actually talked to Darrell Wallace and seeing if he can get him in to the Nationwide Series instead of going back into the ARCA Series.
Yeah, but Darrell Wallace is because he's been with Kyle Busch and he has a fun time with Kyle Busch, I think, because he won a race and bringing that diversity barrier a lot. And
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like these big teams, they're not taking the risk. The teams that will take the risk are those low-funded teams that can't really provide a car for them to run well. Like Johanna Long won the Snowball Derby, one of the toughest dirt races to win.
Right.
And she's no longer on that team anymore. I think my prediction with her is, and though it's sad because I think she's a good driver, she might end up on an even lower funded team because I don't think anyone's going to take the risk on her.
yeah,
I've noticed. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wait, no. Okay. Those lower funded teams, they go to the Truck Series to get more experience, then go to Nationwide, then go to Cup Series. Because it's supposed to go like that, you go from ARCA or from K&N to the Truck Series, get lots of more funding, get some more experience. They go to Nationwide to get more experience than the Cup Series, and there you are in the Cup Series, racing with the big guns.
You know what I've noticed though is that it seems like a lot of drivers come in as a one and done. Like they'll do one season and then they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple drivers
Yeah,
that,
I have seen that a lot through the past few seasons.
like Tim Schendel,
Yeah.
or
Matt
we
saw him
DiBenedetto.
back in-
Basically, anyone who's on Rick Ware Racing. Oh, wait, is that Rick Ware or is that the Motorsport Group? Basically, any driver on the Motorsport Group is a one and done driver.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tim. What was it? Tim Schendel?
yeah, Tim Schendel, Matt DiBenedetto, Scott Speed, Reed Sorensen, though he was a little more high profile. JJ Yaley runs races for them. Josh Wise, basically all the drivers that just couldn't make it on other teams. I know Schendel was originally on the Jimmy Means team trying to be successful. He got replaced by Joey Gase. DiBenedetto was a Joe Gibbs prospect. They just said nope. You know what? He didn't even do that bad to Benedetto. DiBenedetto actually was able to get a top 10 finish or a couple of 11th. He was doing pretty good. If they gave him a full-time ride, he would have been a championship competitor, but they never gave him the chance. And now look where he is, the Motorsport Group, running a Start and Park number 47 car.
That is true, John, because De Benedetto, he is always good on the road courses and the short tracks. The super speedways, I don't think he races the super speedways, but the road courses, De Benedetto is always towards the front, and I want to see him in nationwide competition full time.
Michael McDowell. Why does Michael McDowell not have a ride with Joe Gibbs in the nationwide series?
Why does Michael McDowell not have a ride, period?
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
He's running for Levine Racing. He does not deserve to be running for Levine.
Yeah,
I mean, not to put down that team, but
He deserves better than that.
definitely.
There's a rumor going on.
You know, oh, sorry.
There's a rumor going on that Matt De Benedetto will be possibly have a full-time ride in the Nationwide Series.
he better.
Yeah,
But
basically,
he's better.
He's with what? He might drive with that other team he drove with last year. What was it? I don't know the name of the team, but it was with Tanner Berryhill and whatnot.
Go green.
Vision Racing.
Yeah, I mean, that's also not a very good team. They're about on the same level.
Well, there's some more teams they're lower funded, but they're in a top.
I agree with you, the Michael McDowell thing, because I remember watching him in the Nationwide Series at the road course, and he dominated them.
I remember watching him drive the 55 in 2008, and he was good.
Every time I see Michael McDowell do good in Nationwide too, I just yell at the screen, "Why are we not funding this?
Yeah.
Why are we not funding this?"
I gotta agree with you, John, because Michael McDowell back in 2008 dominated the road courses in the Nationwide Series, and then he got an opportunity to race in Cup. He made his debut at Texas. Later, and the new rides, where he finished 22nd at Martinsville. That has to be the best career finish of 2008 for him. I mean, yeah, he had the wreck at Texas where he tumbled multiple times in the Cup car, but look what happened. He walked away from the wreck.
Yeah.
And see, the reason Michael McDowell does not have the rides is because he was on Michael Waltrip Racing at the wrong time. That was when they weren't. That's when they weren't a top quality team. So he did not get the opportunity to really prove himself. But he's got the talent there. He could do well for Joe Gibbs, but Joe Gibbs is not funding him. They're not gonna put him in. They might put him in for a road course, but they're not gonna think of him as a serious option for anything, and that's sad.
Well, you never know. You never know until you actually give the kid a shot. He might be a championship contender.
Yeah, but again, these rides are just going to all these Cup regulars that are already established. And you know what I kind of hope with this tactic? I hope that eventually, when Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin and Matt Kenseth all leave out the door, that Joe Gibbs can't find anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because-
And they would have to hire either McDowell or maybe some of the lower drivers and see if they can have a shot. And I want to see them win races and championships so they can look and say, wow, we should have signed these guys a long time ago.
Here's my lineup for Gibbs. This is what I want to see. After Kenseth, Hamlin, and Busch leave, I want to see Darrell Wallace Jr., Matt De Benedetto, and Michael McDowell.
Though I feel Kyle Busch, since he's young, Denny Hamlin's relatively young, they're going to be a while, but Matt Kenseth, I mean, he's not 1 foot out the door yet. He still has got a couple of years in him, but when he leaves, who are they going to put in his place? They're either going to try and find another Cup driver that's been around for a while, or they would have to go down lower. But they haven't been giving any of their lower series drivers any experience.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
If they put Drew Herring in the car, he's gonna get completely stomped because he has not had any experience. The only way they would be able to do it is if they get Darrell Wallace Jr. And that isn't their doing. That's Kyle Busch's doing.
That's they also got Elliott Sadler driving the 11.
Yeah, but do you think he's going to be as effectual?
Nope.
Exactly.
He's done as a Cup driver, I feel.
Yeah.
Well, if only
Yeah,
he
because
has
you
the chance.
see him more in nationwide than they do in Cup.
He's gonna get trapped down there.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
will.
I think if he wins a few championships or wins a lot of races, he can do it. But I don't see that in the future for him anytime soon.
because they're not going to put the funding into Elliott Sadler. They're going to put it into Kyle Busch.
Definitely, yeah.
That's true.
Well, Josh.
Yeah.
You remember in 2011, Elliott Sadler was one race away from the nationwide championship.
Then 2011, that was like a long time ago for me.
Well, yeah, a long time ago for you, but I remember 2011, the race at Phoenix. He was one race away from clinching the nationwide championship, and he got dumped by Jason Leffler and just ended his championship run. And then he tried it again, he got wrecked again, and he tried it this year. He came close, but he had that bad run at Homestead in the early going, and he just went on to say, we'll get him next year. We'll keep racing nationwide. He won't focus more on Cup because he wants to win that nationwide championship.
Yeah, he wants to start the lower series just so he can get more experience. Because he's been like in top 10, he gets top 10 in points a lot of times, and he wants to win that one championship. All the things he got is like bad luck every time he turns.
Yeah,
that is true.
The reason why I remember from Elliott Sadler was the bad thing I remember of him is because one time at Pocono he had his engine ripped out of his car.
Definitely,
yeah.
Yes.
I remember that. That was back in 2010. That was a horrible crash for him.
Yeah.
That's Pocono.
That was 2010?
Yeah, that was 2010.
Really? Man, I'm old.
Yeah.
We know.
But it really sucks that like ESPN did not have any cameras. Or was that TNT?
That was TNT.
No, Josh, that was ESPN.
Yeah.
But here, let's
basically, here's Elliott Sadler's career. He first raced with Robert Yates Racing in the 38 M&M's car. He had two big flips at Talladega. Do you remember those?
Yes.
2003, 2004? Yes.
Yes. And they were both at the same racetrack. Later on, he would have
Talladega.
continuous wrecks. Then later on, he would join Richard Petty Motorsports, and he would continue to have bad wrecks.
Well,
yeah, that's kind of a luck-based thing.
well,
Because before that, he was on Wood Brothers, and he got a win with them.
Oh yeah, Wood Brothers. He won, I think, one race with them.
Yeah, Bristol. It was the big upset.
Yeah.
But I want to bring up an example that I think is the best example. Oh wait, Tom, your mic's echoing again pretty heavily.
Yeah, I did not want to hear Jimmy laughing twice.
Yeah, it can see if you can try and.
Well, my mic's built into my computer, so I can't basically do it.
Just I don't know, like cry a bit. I don't know.
Get some headphones.
Lie on the floor, try not to cry a lot.
It's tamed down a bit.
I do have headphones, so I'll do that.
Yeah, is probably why.
Yeah, that's better.
Here, I'll give the story that I feel is the best example against Buschwhackers. This is the Odyssey of Steven Leicht. Now, for those of you who don't know, Steven Leicht is a race car driver. Now, Steven Leicht was a development driver for Richard Childress Racing. And he was this strapping young driver like, oh boy, gonna go race some cars around the track. Things are gonna be great. He finally gets put into a car in the number 29 after working his way up, I think through Truck Series. So he's in the 29 car, which is a good car. And he drives the car, and he does good. However, Richard Childress Racing decides, you know what we could do to make things better? Let's put Jeff Burton in the car. And Kevin Harvick and drivers like that. Like, I think it was primarily Jeff Burton. Because
Yeah,
Jeff
it
Burton
was.
Yeah, because Kevin Harvick was in the 21. So they said, instead of paying you, this new guy, we got this person that's already on our payroll, that already has the experience, we're going to put him in the car. So he was left without a ride.
Yeah.
He then was able to get a ride with a small, I forget if this was either a Robert Yates team or a Robert Yates affiliate team. But he drove the 90 car. We'll just say it's for Yates Racing. So he drove the 90 for Yates, if you remember that car. It was like the City Financial machine.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And it was a lower quality ride, but he was still able to get in there, and he did modestly well. But then the team decided, well, why have Steven Leicht when we can have Elliott Sadler, who's already with our team? So they kicked him out of that ride and put Elliott Sadler in, looking for more success. He did, I think, about as well. Maybe slightly better, but just about as well. So then Steven Leicht was left completely rideless. He was just running for, like, one race a year, maybe, for, like, this really small, low-funded team. Until eventually, out of the blue, he got a ride with, I believe, Joe Falk and his team in the number 33 car as a mid-season replacement and a run for Rookie of the Year. So he was in that 33 machine, and he was a starting park. Well, he wasn't a starting parker. He was a just near the back of the pack, and he was able to beat Josh Wise. I know it was difficult, but he beat Josh Wise on half the schedule, and was able to win Rookie of the Year. Then, nothing. He just completely vanished after that. The team decided to go with Landon Castle, who was more established. So, though that last part has nothing to do with it, this is the epitome of a career that was completely screwed over by Cup regulars.
Yes, because Cup regulars dominate the Nationwide Series altogether. The only thing we get for like Nationwide drivers is the drivers' championship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I want to just also point out, like, getting rid of all the Cup regulars, like banning them. I know that the ratings will go down a lot.
Yeah,
I know they will.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, you gotta have.
Half the people do not even care about these lower drivers. They're just like, screw them. I just want to look at my Kyle Busch dominate the field. But what I think NASCAR should do, they should limit it. They say you can run races, but you can only run a limited schedule.
That's what they should do.
3 or 5 races per year, or
At most 10. At most 10.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, at most.
because it's every week. It's a battle between whoever's in the Penske car at the time, either Logano or Keselowski, and Kyle Busch. The two of them combined won like over 2/3 of the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in fact, they actually were so good they were beating the other Cup regulars. The other Cup regulars had nothing for them. Kevin Harvick, I don't think, went to victory lane. Casey Kane never went to victory lane. The only other Cup regular I think that went to victory lane was Tony Stewart at Daytona, and that was a one-race deal.
Yeah.
Right.
And see, I don't mind Tony Stewart in the Nationwide Series because he limits it to one race. He just likes running Daytona, and I can understand that. He only runs that one race. Though he dominates it, he'll run that one event, and the rest of the season, he'll just leave it for everyone else. But these other drivers, they run like a full schedule, or they'll run like all but like 4 events. And it's not helpful for the series. It's not helpful for the future.
Yeah, because Tony Stewart, he wants like races so he can get to field the car. It was saying like a lot of time ago, and yeah, but it's like he does not dominate. He like sits in like in the middle of the pack, but you know what? It's just dumb luck if he wins. Sometimes just dumb luck.
I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Josh.
He is a pretty good driver.
Yeah, yes.
Josh.
You just made a lot of people angry, Josh.
Okay.
Lock your doors.
I want to say for me, I am not a Stewart fan. Okay, I'm sorry if I make people angry, but you know what? Sometimes in the Nationwide Series, he's a guy got a lower running car. The only way he wins is like some kind of dumb luck. He's gonna only race.
Well, Josh.
Yes.
When he raced his first nationwide race at Daytona, I think that was back in 2007, I think 2008. The dumb luck he had was beating Kyle Busch, because Kyle Busch has been racing in the Nationwide Series ever since he came into NASCAR, and it may be dumb luck just for beating Kyle Busch, but the reason he picks only Daytona to race in the season opener for the Nationwide Series, he's still looking for that Daytona 500 in the Cup Series. So he goes to Daytona in the Nationwide Series, gets a feel for the track, and then goes on into the Cup. but he still does poorly. But he strategizes a perfect strategy of hanging at the back of the pack, slowly making his way to the front, staying out of trouble, and when the trouble starts, he's ahead of it, and when the time is right, he makes his moves, and he does all these zigzag moves through the field, and he comes up winning.
Yeah.
It may be dumb luck, but to me, it's a perfect strategy.
See, I feel that is a strategic move, just to hang back and then work his way to the front near the end. Dumb luck would be like Derek Cope's Daytona 500, where he was running second and the leader had a mechanical issue. I mean, he was skilled enough to be up there in the top 5. I mean, that is still a great feat, second in the Daytona 500. But the fact that he won that, it was going to be Dale Earnhardt's 500. But
Yeah,
he
it
had
was.
a mechanical issue, and Derek Cope was able to get up there.
Right.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's luck, because that's something that Derek Cope, he did not physically pass Earnhardt based on his own car or wheelmanship abilities. He passed it because it had an issue. Though he was up in second, and he actually led a couple times that day, it was too late for him to actually, like, run up and make a pass. He didn't really have a drafting partner.
Yeah.
But stuff
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
like, technically, you can always do the strategy versus luck thing with the entirety of the Derek Cope wins, because the 500 was a fluke. He wouldn't have won that race. He would have gotten second. His win at Dover that year was purely strategy. He won it on pit strategy. The drivers like Rusty Wallace and whatnot that were up near the front, they were not as good on pit road as Derek Cope that day, and Derek Cope was able to get on pit road in the late stages ahead of everyone and was able to hold them off with fresher tires. So so that was a strategy move. But getting back onto the topic with that, I mean, a lot of other drivers that run it, they say it's also for kind of the practice, but I feel that they're at a point in their career where they don't really need the practice.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
they don't. They don't need the practice at all.
It's mostly about strategy.
it gets to the point where they become so good that racing nationwide stuff, it's like it just becomes second nature. And really, I think it's really just to annoy people. That's all it is for. More
Brad
money, and they
Keselowski's
annoy
a
people.
champion. Brad Keselowski's a champion.
Right.
And he's still running Nationwide Series, though not as much as normal. He's still running it for a good portion of the schedule.
I got an example for a nationwide driver that's actually a sprint cup driver too. That's Kurt Busch with Phoenix Racing driving the one car. He doesn't really do that much.
Yeah, he doesn't really run the lower series that much. He only does it occasionally, and sometimes it's just to help out his brother with the 54.
But basically, who else is Phoenix Racing going to get to drive the one car nationwide?
And also, I mean, you saw the teams that Kurt Busch was on.
Yeah,
When he was running it.
these low-funded teams with only one or two race cars.
Yeah,
That's why I'm not upset with, like, Joe Nemechek, because Joe Nemechek is technically a bushwhacker. He's a full-time Cup driver that runs full-time nationwide. But,
but
his
his-
Cup team is so ineffective at driving at all. Like, they're a starting park team every week. So
Yeah.
they're not actually competing in the Cup. They're the bare minimum of being a Cup regular.
Yeah,
That is
and
true.
his skill level is kind of lacking too.
I mean, he doesn't run for Cup points. He runs for nationwide points. He's just up there to just try and keep his team from going into bankruptcy.
Yep.
yeah. But, like,
Which I don't I mean, that's completely fine with me. But when
And going back to what Thomas was saying about Kurt Busch driving the one car for Phoenix Racing, it was the Nationwide Series summer event at Daytona where Austin Dillon was, I think it was running second or the lead at the time of the final lap. Kurt Busch won that race when Austin Dillon spun after getting turned by some driver. Now
Michael Annett.
Yeah, Michael Annett. Austin Dillon, I think was running second or the lead, but Kurt Busch brought Phoenix Racing that win, and that was the highlight of Phoenix Racing. That one win at Daytona.
Definitely. And you know what? Phoenix Racing and Kurt Busch is known to have, I'm sorry for being off topic, but like movie themed race cars.
Oh, you
Well, yeah,
explain.
movie themed race cars, because like they want to get these. They want to express their own originality, but the sponsors don't really make the car.
Yeah.
I mean, you can run a bare naked car, just have the Nationwide logo on there, and you can still be in content for the win.
Yeah. You just want like an unsponsored car, just like a great car with just on the nation, like what you said, and like win the race, and people will go crazy after you, but only for a few weeks, and then a car regular wins, and then the driver is never heard of again.
Well, you see, I think sponsors are a good thing to have in NASCAR in general because it gives you extra money to actually make your car worth winning. You know what I mean?
True, yeah, true.
I mean, if you go out there with a great car and you have no sponsor funding whatsoever and you're left to your own resources, you're not going to make a very fast car.
Yeah, like the Tommy Baldwin bunch. I mean, their 36 car is usually unsponsored, though we know that can sometimes get close to victory lane. It's been close a couple times.
Right. Now, just imagine for a second if some of the Tommy Baldwin cars had, like, the sponsors like some of these that these really big name teams have. Like, for instance, what if they had all of Jimmy Johnson's funding? What do you think they could do then?
You would see J.J. Yaley maybe running up near the... Maybe not winning, because I'm not really sure of J.J. Yaley's abilities, because he hasn't really had much chance to show them off.
Right.
But he could pilot it to a good finish. He could even... I think maybe it would be about Paul Menard levels.
Right.
Yeah,
He could get a win.
I mean, like, J.J. Yaley's not the best example for things, because, I mean, he only had one season on a top-tier team.
All right.
He was with Joe Gibbs 1 year before they replaced him for Kyle Busch.
Well, if you put J.J. Yaley with a Jimmy Johnson type race car, you would see him maybe towards the front, maybe contending for wins, maybe a win or two, and long ball going way out of there, like way out of the ballpark. Maybe a championship, maybe.
I think we can think of a better example than J.J. Yaley. Let's take a look at David
Like
Reagan.
Liddell?
Yes, David Reagan, indeed.
Now, David Reagan, he does have sponsorship.
Yes,
but it's not-
David Reagan.
It's not consistent sponsorship, and it's usually sponsorship that isn't like the top things. Like one of them was like railway safety, which I mean, like, granted that's a good thing to put on a race car, but
Be safe around trains. A message from Metro.
yep. But I mean, it's not something that's gonna pay like huge dollar. He had Where's Waldo on there. I mean, like, it's sponsors that are cool. I mean, that Where's Waldo's car was insane.
I think he
Yeah.
had an A&W. I think he had an A&W root beer logo sponsor on there once too.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
not
he did.
consistent. Now, you saw him when he was on Roush. He had moderately consistent sponsorship, and he did well with it.
UPS.
He wasn't the best. He wasn't as doing as good as his teammates, but he had something that was able to get him places. Imagine if his 34 car had good sponsorship. I think he would be in a lot better competition with these top teams.
Definitely, yeah. Because like David Reagan,
Yeah.
he got away from. I don't know if like Joe Joe Gibbs Jack Roush fired him or something like that. Then he moved to lower class. But you know what? That win at Talladega. Whew. A lot of people showed that showed what unfunded teams can do. Right.
Yeah, like Front Row Motorsports. I'm really hoping that they can work their way up and be competitive soon. They get
Yes.
better every year.
Yeah, I mean David Reagan, when he was with Roush, he did pretty good. But referencing the 2011 Daytona 500, he was right there for the win with his teammate Trevor Bayne, who was with the Wood Brothers. He made a move that NASCAR didn't like. They black flagged it. So it's like, oh man, I'm not going to win the race. He had a dismal season. He went back to Daytona and he won the race.
Wait, this is for wait, what's this
David
for?
Reagan.
Are you talking about Trevor Bain or? I'm sorry, I got a little lost here.
He's talking about David Reagan.
Yeah, I got lost. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
That's true.
It has been a long day.
Hey, I gotta get going. I gotta go to bed.
All right, Tom. Thanks for being a part of the discussion.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, no problem. I'm willing to join anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.
So,
Alright,
where
so
were we?
we're talking about David Reagan. Yeah, about the second Daytona race in 2011 where he won that. That was you, Jamie.
Yeah, Josh. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh you with that, John, because I was referencing the 2011 Daytona 500 when he was with Roush and he made that illegal move passing before the start finish line when the leader Trevor Bain, who was with the Wood Brothers, who actually won that race. David Reagan had a dismal season. You saw the wreck at Talladega he had with Brad Keselowski when his car caught fire. He went back to Daytona in the summer, and he was in the back of the pack, made his way to the front, had some good pit stops, had some bad pit stops, and then on a green-white checkered, chaos behind him, he won the race. That's what I want to see David Reagan do. I want to see him win races, contend for championships, contend for anything he can do.
Yeah, I think David Reagan, him winning at Talladega this year, really championed the underdog. Like, 'cause it's been a while. Like, I mean, we had that series of first-time winners in 2011, but now that season ended, these past 2 years have been pretty much like, yeah, it's the same old, same old. But then David Reagan really upset the status quo. And I feel, especially with front row racing, he could be leading that team to great things. I mean, look at the team itself. You've got David Reagan, who was the Roush driver that they didn't want. David Gilliland, who is a little older now, but still doing well at those super speedway events. And then you have, it used to be Josh Wise. I'm not sure if they announced a new driver yet. Have they announced a new driver for front row? I know they're gonna run a 3-car team.
No.
Like, I forget if they ran. At the test session, I think it was just David Gilliland that went. So.
Yeah.
On my head is speaking Scott Speed. I don't know. Wait, no, he was in the 95, I think. And he was in the 95 for for sprint.
You were talking about Scott Speed.
Yeah. I didn't know because I thought he was with front row, but I think it was going somewhere else.
No, Scott Speed, he was with Red Bull when he came into the series. He was released from that. Then he was able to get back into the series on I think he ran with Gunzelman briefly, but then he went with the Levine Racing family. Next year he'll be replacing Michael McDowell. So him and McDowell did a ride swap, I believe. I think he's in the 98. Is he the one in the 98?
Let me check because
the 98. Yes, I believe he is.
Yeah.
I do not. Wait. Oh wait, no. That's Mon Racing. Never mind. I don't see Scott Speed's name on the team chart yet.
Let me check. Wait, no, that's the wrong document. I keep a personal document of the silly season, so I keep it all in order.
Yeah.
I just edit every time I see a new thing. Let's take a look at this. Oh wait, no, Josh Wise is in the 98. No,
Yeah.
Scott Speed's not running next year.
Yeah, Scott Speed is. I don't know, but he's probably trying to run full time in a GRC. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. He was good in Rallycross.
Definitely has. And if we were getting a bit off topic right here, we need to talk about cup regulars in Nationwide Series.
Yeah, true. We need to get back on that. Do we feel there's anything else we can add to this, or could we wrap it up? 'Cause we've been going for a while on this.
If you want, maybe do like 2 topics in one video if you want.
Well, I mean, I don't mind talking about this topic for a while. It's just I want to make sure we aren't repeating ourselves.
I can't think of really anything.
Well, Well, going to this reference here on NASCAR.com, this may be off topic a little bit, but Brendan Gaughan and Ty Dillon, they were with the Truck Series not too long ago, and Richard Childress is actually thinking of putting Ty in the Cup Series and putting Brendan in the Nationwide Series, and Brian Scott will actually drive a car in the Nationwide Series.
Oh, wow. 'Cause I know that he's bringing Ty and Brendan up to the top series because they're closing down the truck team.
Yeah.
Which I feel that was a nice gesture by them. Like, they could have just said, screw you, get out of here.
Yeah,
especially to Brendan Gaughan, because Brendan Gaughan never gets
Yeah.
the ride.
especially Brian Scott, because Brian Scott, he's gonna drive the number 2 Shore Lodge Chevy. He basically Richard wants to give him a shot at some top level racing. So it looks like we're gonna have some more underfunded drivers racing in top levels.
Someone.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like that. Like, the thing I'm excited about this next year, there's a lot of rookies on the table.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of rookies.
Yeah, because you've got Austin Dillon moving up, Mike Lynette moving up. You've got Kyle Larson, Cole Witt, Parker Kligerman, and there might be a couple others too that are rumored.
However, the one that I'm most excited about is what's his name? Carl Larson.
Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel he could do a decent job. Like, I feel honestly, it's going to be a two-man race. It's going to be between Dillon and Larson because the other teams are underfunded. But I like the idea that they're actually bringing them up there and giving them the chance. Like, what has Cole Witt done in the lower series? He hasn't done too much, but they're still giving him the chance.
I don't think Cole Witt has done anything.
He was good in the trucks for a little bit, but then I forget what happened. I think he got injured or something, and that really hurt his career a bit.
Oh yeah, that is true. He got injured in a crash.
Yeah, I mean Parker Kligerman. I mean he's getting this ride because Kyle Busch is closing down on his ride. So I mean that's good too because Parker Kligerman's one of my people to watch out for because I think he's really good. He seems to be like the sleeper driver.
Yeah.
And then like Mike Lynette, I don't think he'll be very effectual. I mean, not to put the guy down, just that I don't think he's on a team that can really give him a good car. Nor do I feel he's not top of the list, I would say.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do like the idea that they brought him up and they're going to give him the chance. I really hope to see something.
Yeah.
And see, he has the plus that he has sponsorship with him that will stay with him.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, he has Flying J on the car, and Kyle Larson too. Kyle Larson is one to look out for, but maybe not so much. But he will be one to look out for in the coming season if he can keep it on all 4 tires at Daytona.
Right. There's only that problem.
Yeah.
I want to point out another thing that kind of surprised me a bit that they gave them the opportunity. I want to talk about the Nationwide Series next year. I think like a couple of drivers here might be able to get some rides. Like Roush Fenway is giving Chris Buescher a chance in the 60, I believe.
Oh wow! Instead of Carl Edwards?
Yeah, Chris Buescher. I mean, like he's a good driver. He's a ARCA champion, if I'm not mistaken.
That is true. He won an ARCA championship.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't think he would ever get the chance to be up there, but they gave him a ride. Mary-Eve Defoe running for Go Green Racing. Full time.
Oh wow!
Like, I mean, she only has one prior start, and that was that famous spin at Montreal. But they're giving her this driver who I actually wrote about this in an essay on women in motorsports. I said it's kind of surprising that they gave her a full-time ride. I'm really happy they took the chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because you know what, Go Green Motorsports. I don't mean to change famous plugs. Wait, I'm there from the main area.
I think you said something, but I'm not sure exactly what.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I'm just talking about Go Green Racing from Maine. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I want to just point out Roush Fenway altogether. They're giving a lot of drivers chances. I believe they're putting Trevor Bayne in their 6th. It hasn't been announced yet, but they're probably going to put him in the 6th.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're
so-
putting Ryan Reed in the 16.
Oh wow.
If you remember
We haven't
Ryan
heard a lot
Reed.
of him. Yeah, Ryan Reed. He's really good.
Yeah, and also he's good, especially considering like he has he has some sort of medical issue that is like a concern.
No. So I wanted to talk about.
I think he has diabetes or something.
Mm.
He can go
No, that's actually you're thinking of a IndyCar driver.
No, I think Ryan Reed has the same issue. Like he has actually a special thing on his suit where if he needs insulin, like they have to one of the pit members has to put it in his leg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I believe both of them are. But yeah, I mean the fact that Roush Fenway took the chance on this driver with a potential medical concern, that's a really good sign, I feel.
Yeah, that's a really good sign. If he can really win races and contend for them, that will have to be the biggest thing I ever saw out of a driver with a well-known medical condition.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope that these teams could take a couple more chances like this and allow some of these drivers to give them a shot and let them see what they can do.
All right.
Because right now it's just kind of just stick with the safe option.
Well, here's case in point. Lewis Hamilton, his first year in Formula One, he, I believe, finished second in the championship. His next year, he was still pretty fresh in the series. He won the championship in a nail biter of a Brazilian Grand Prix. I think he only won the championship by like 1 point or something. But that proves that just because you're a rookie doesn't mean you can't win stuff.
That's true.
With him, did they take a chance on him? Like, was he like someone that was already established, or was he?
No, they took a chance. He was last minute.
Oh, last minute.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that? I'm curious.
Kimi Räikkönen had been slotted to drive for I believe it was McLaren, but he backed out and he went to Ferrari instead. So they put him in the car in 2007, and he won his first championship in 2008.
Was Hamilton like a development driver or something?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, like he was like just someone that just like tested for F1, maybe ran like an F2 or something.
Well, they gave him the lesser car of the two because I can't remember who his teammate was at the time, but they gave him the less modified car. So he was.
They gave him the less car,
Yeah,
and
the
he
less,
did better.
And he did better, yeah.
Yeah,
He won the final United States Grand Prix race in 2007, and then he a few years later in 2012 when they had the first one at Circuit of the Americas, he won that race. So he's gone double down in America. But yeah, in 2008 he beat out Ferrari's driver. I think it was Alonso. He beat out Alonso when Timo Glock. He passed Timo Glock, and that was the driver he had to pass to win the championship. So he passed him, and then the rest, as they say, is history.
I have one more question with that. Like, was there like a free agent at the time that was like everyone thought like, oh, he's gonna get the ride, and then they picked Hamilton? Or
I can't quite remember. I'd have to look at the drivers that had been lined up for that particular car, but I think there was, but I can't remember. Right
that
off the
would
top
be
of my head.
perfect if like. If people were thinking, oh yes, this is definitely going to I don't know what's the name of a Formula One driver, like something Le Mans Crusade. So like this Le Mans Crusade.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like an elegant name, Le Mans Crusade.
Yeah.
John, I think I know who you're talking about. Duran Carson
Really?
King.
Really? Because I just made up a name just now.
I think you're
wasn't
trying.
thinking-
I think you're trying to say.
I'm not thinking of Karthikeyan. I know who he is. I just made up like a fictional name of like someone who would be driving a really classy car. Le Mans Crusade.
Well, you did a pretty good job.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna use that name for something.
It'll be used for something.
Yeah, I'm writing that down. I'm just spelling out how I think it would possibly sound.
Yeah, and I think
Damn, that's a classy name.
yeah, yeah.
Man, I just feel richer just being near that name.
Oh, such
Lamont.
richness.
I think we're getting really off topic with the sport.
Yeah, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
But do we got anything else about Cup regulars in the lower series, or maybe we can make some final remarks?
I'm pretty good.
I think I gotta say is that like I want them to be limited, like you said, John, like 10 races per year just for the Nationwide Series. I think that would be a great option if they ever think of it.
If they want, they can even have like a separate, like small, like point standings where it's like the Cup regulars championship in a way, where like they run their 10-race stint, and whoever had the best 10-race stint would get the smaller title.
Yeah.
Like that would actually be kind of cool in a way.
Yeah.
Because they're not running all season long, so they're not just kind of milking the owners' championship.
Right.
Yeah, true.
They're not going to be beating them every week because there's certain tracks where they just won't send them. Like you wouldn't send your Cup regular to Iowa
Nope.
because
Oh,
it's not
no,
a companion
no.
race.
No, you
So
would
you would
send
maybe send them to the big events or tracks that you think they have a chance at, and you could have like a thing like that. And I think that would be a good addition. You would have your drivers' championship with the nationwide regulars, which they would be more competitive in since there would be less interference from the Cup regulars, and they would be much closer competition. Like, I'll just give the example of the Truck Series. The Truck Series only has 2 like repeat offenders of it because Kevin Harvick only runs Martinsville, and the racing in there is far more exciting
All right.
than the Nationwide Series because you got a bunch of teams that are close in competition facing each other. It only gets boring if Kyle Busch dominates.
All
Yeah.
right.
And the Truck Series is the best out of all 3 series. That's all 3 series.
Yeah.
Because they're like underfooted teams trying to battle at it, and that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, Josh, you're right, because all these truck drivers have the opportunity to prove what they can do to these nationwide, these Cup teams, these major Cup teams, these major nationwide teams. They have a chance to prove what they got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and these trucks are a little less expensive than the other series. So I mean, these young team owners and teams and drivers, they could potentially purchase a truck and try and enter it.
Yeah, because
Like you wouldn't see a driver like Natalie Sather like attempting a Cup race in a self-funded car because
Oh, no.
there's no way that she could afford that. I mean, she can barely afford the run
No.
Truck Series, but she at least has a chance to try and prove herself. It's just unfortunately her only time doing that, she spun out in qualifying and
That
couldn't
would
make the race.
That would be a true starting park.
yeah, because you know what, in the Truck Series, you won't see a guy like Matt Crafton up in the Cup Series anytime soon or ever.
Should be. He should be.
Yeah, he should be. But,
Damn, that guy.
Should
Like
be.
when I just want to point out when he won this championship, I'm like, finally, my God, he's been trying for years,
Yeah.
and he's still like 27, so we still have a shot of making in the Cup Series.
Yeah, he is.
I
And
need to give him a ride, yo. He did good in Nationwide, man. I love Matt Crafton.
yeah, and
I mean, there's a lot of Truck Series drivers who are just stuck in the Truck Series and can't move their way out. Ron Hornaday. I think he's a 4-time truck champion. 4-time truck champion. He's still stuck in the Truck Series.
Dennis Setzer was still stuck in the Truck Series.
Mike
He was a
Skinner.
champion. Todd Bodine never really got to make it up too far. Jack Sprague never made it up too far.
Matt.
And then my main man, Norm Benning.
Yeah,
had to make it up too far.
like you got oh yeah.
Yeah, Norm Benning.
I mean, you got all these Truck Series drivers who are winning races, winning championships, even winning Daytona, and they're still stuck in the Truck Series.
Though I feel in a way the Truck Series is more of like an elder gentleman's league in a way, because that's what it originally started. It was usually a bunch of the drivers that were past their prime in the Cup Series. They still wanted to race, and they just kind of went down there and they like duked it out.
Morgan
Then it became
Shepherd.
more of- yeah, hey, Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan Shepherd.
Most people only hope that when they're old they could be Morgan Shepherd, because Morgan Shepherd could like bench press you. He's amazing. Like, you heard the story with Norm Benning at a Walmart in Las Vegas. There was a teenage shoplifter that was running out of a Walmart. People were like, "Yay, there's a shoplifter." Morgan Shepherd chased him down and tackled him. He caught up to a teenager.
Don't mess with Morgan Shepherd.
69-year-old Morgan Shepherd
Wow.
chased down a teenager and tackled him. And then the police, they were running past to catch the other shoplifter. They just threw Morgan Shepherd some handcuffs, and he caught him. And he handcuffed him.
I gotta look it up.
Look that up. If I can find it, if I remember, I'll put it in the description.
That is hilariously
Morgan
funny.
Shepherd is the best person in the universe.
That is hilariously funny.
I mean, John.
He's also an avid roller skater and dancer.
I mean, John.
Go Morgan Shepherd. Sat
Alright.
next to Colonel Sanders in the 3rd grade, but he's now the best
wait,
guy in the world.
Okay. Jamie, what do you want to say?
Going back to what John was saying, how the truck series is turning into a series where drivers in the Cup Series are past their prime. Look at what Michael Waltrip did. He is up there in age.
Yeah.
He's starting to get a little bit old. He
won Daytona.
He won Daytona 2011 on the 10th anniversary of his first Daytona 500.
I know. I mean, though I'm not saying it's turning into one. I'm saying it always has been. It's been that way since it first started. Because the first year, if you look at the drivers from the first year, they were either drivers from the early '90s that didn't make the cut, or just like drivers from like local dirt track leagues, or the West Division. Like, I think maybe like Bill Sedgwick was like driving at the time and whatnot. I forget if Sedgwick was a truck driver. I think he was. But I mean, it was kind of a gentleman, like the elder gentleman's league. Like, well, we've had our fun in the top division. Let's go some good old fashioned short track racing, some trucks, and go beating and banging.
All right.
Which I like that attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big, Eldor was a great thing for the truck series.
That was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. And
That
was the
Eldora.
only time single file racing was exciting.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And that's why I think dirt track should be brought up to maybe even cup level, because that would be an interesting event.
Yeah.
That'll show who really knows how to handle their car.
Yeah, because you got these trucks running on smaller tires. I think they're about smaller than the average tire than you run on concrete and asphalt. And the single file racing is exciting because you got these trucks literally drifting y'all into the corners and just sticking it there for about half a turn, and then you jerk the wheel to the right, and you're still keeping it y'all in the front stretch, and you're doing that all the way around the racetrack. I want to see dirt tracks in the Cup Series, Nationwide Series, so we can see the Cup drivers in the Nationwide Series just completely like dirt tracks in the Nationwide Series, Cup drivers. I want to see who has the better car control, Nationwide or Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though, let's get back on topic there. We can have the debate about dirt tracks in the future, because that is one I do want to do that one as an episode.
Wait.
That's a good topic.
So like, getting back on topic. I think we said everything that we wanted to say, right?
Did you just turn British?
Come on.
What happened?
No, actually, I just said like I think we are.
I think we should get back on topic.
We should probably get back on topic.
I do say, Mr. McCrury, we should get back to the matter at hand.
So I say.
Sip wine.
Right.
Positively delightful.
I think we are maybe out of time. I don't know.
Well, we're never out of time. This could go like for 24 hours if we ever so please. We're gonna have that 24-hour episode about Chad Chaffin.
Yes. Yes.
And we're gonna get him in the booth, and we're gonna talk about him, ask him what it was like, and oh man, I love Chad Chaffin.
All right.
I want Chad Chaffin to be my new best friend. But I think we've said all we could say on the topic. Let's go to our final verdict on this. Josh, do you want to start off with a final statement here?
Yeah, I think I already said mine, but I'll just repeat myself. I think it'd be great what you said, like have like people have limited Cup drivers min limit of like 10 drivers, 10 races. I mean, it doesn't have a separate point standings just for those 10 races for the Cup drivers.
Yeah. James, you got anything left to add for your final statement?
I gotta agree with that, but seeing the rookies coming into the Nationwide Series in the coming season, the Cup drivers are gonna really have some competition coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony?
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
All right. I just want to wrap things up by saying the idea that the Cup regulars go in there and they're dominating, and that the teams are perpetuating this, and that NASCAR is perpetuating this, because they've made a statement. Like, Mike Helton made a statement saying he has no intent of changing any rules about the Nationwide Series in terms of Cup regulars being in it. And I think that's wrong. He should consider this, and I feel it would be more beneficial to the sport as a whole, especially to the top series, because you'd have more drivers attempting races, because you would have these lower teams, they would bring up their drivers as like a fourth car for a limited schedule to test them. That would add more drivers to the field. It would allow in the lower series to have more competitive racing and to have actual competition. The Cup regulars would still have a chance running a limited schedule, and they could still bring in their fan bases, especially for the top tier events, kind of like how in the Truck Series, like their big events will have like maybe more Cup regulars than usual, like Kevin Harvick or something. Maybe even like ARCA races where they occasionally have like the Top Gun in there and people will tune in. And you'll just overall have a better experience for everyone. You'll have drivers working their way up and getting a chance to be successful. And I just feel that this is something that should be implemented that isn't being implemented, and it's hurting NASCAR for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like like the years for NASCAR was like late 1990s to like 2010. 2010 onwards was like the downfall of NASCAR, I think.
I think, for me personally, downfall I feel was around when the chase started, because that's when they started making all these new changes that I don't feel had been working in their favor. I feel NASCAR's lost a lot of respect in a way.
Yeah.
From the 90s, when in the 90s they were one of the biggest sports.
Oh,
they were
yeah.
rivaling football and whatnot. Now they're still popular, but its fan base is just kind of sticking with them just because they like the sport, not because they agree with all the changes made in there.
Yeah.
So I feel this was a good discussion. This was a topic I really wanted to discuss for a while, and I had a feeling it would be a really good debate. And I think personally it was. I think we had a lot of insightful commentary on it. Though we didn't have like a back and forth because we were all kind of in agreement. I did bring up the issues from detractors, and we did elaborate on them. If you have something to say out there in the audience, in the comment section below, please do so. Just make sure you support yourself with it. No one likes people yelling in the comments, just like baseless claims. When just do so respectively. I mean, we all have our opinions here on the show, and everyone in the comments has their opinions. Just be respectful of them and leave your own. Like if you think we're all completely wrong and that Kyle Busch should be in that top series, he shouldn't be limited in any way, leave it down there. We would love to talk to you about that. But
Yeah.
this has been the NASCussion. If you want to leave a comment below, please do so. If you want to be a part of the NASCussion, we're always looking for people that want to talk about NASCAR. That's what we like to do.
Yep.
And if maybe you don't want to be a part of it and you just want to suggest a topic for us to cover, do so. We're always open to topics coming in. We like talking about NASCAR, and we'll talk about anything about it.
Indeed.
So indeed.
Indeed.
So next time then.
Yeah, this has been the NASCussion. We'll see you next time. So long.
Peace.
Adios.
Good night.